If you have a disease where most people get sick and it has a high fatality rate, then what you can do is you can find those people, do source control, quarantine them, do contact tracing. But if you have a illness that is mild in a lot of people, so they don't even interrupt their work schedule, they're still going around and doing what they do socially, and there's this whole that only the tip of the iceberg is asymptomatic people, then it's going to be extremely difficult to control. All of these coronaviruses originally came from bats. And bats have over 500 different coronaviruses. Only 7 have made the jump to humans. 4 that cause the common cold, SARS, and MERS, the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. And where we believe they're coming from is what we call wet markets in China, where they keep live animals, and basically the feeling is you get some kind of invigoration from the animal, but the closer it is to have been alive, the more you get. And so they keep these animals alive, stacked on top of each other in these wet markets, a perfect way to transmit viruses back and forth between species. And they're all closed now in China, and the Chinese government has made a suggestion that they're going to try and outlaw these wet markets, but I don't know if that's going to happen. This is really ingrained in traditional Chinese culture, and so it would be very difficult. But if we don't close these wet markets, we'll see more coronaviruses. And so for SARS, it was from bats to civet cats, and the civet cats were actually kept in the restaurants in Hong Kong until they were ordered. And so the civet cat, it went from the bat to the civet cat to humans. For MERS, it actually went from the bats to camels, and it's the camels that are transmitting it to humans. In this situation, the highest suspect is the pangolin. And pangolins are basically armored anteaters. They're mammals. They are an endangered species, but they were kept in these wet markets. And there's a coronavirus from a pangolin that's a 99% match with this current coronavirus. So that looks likely. The sad thing is that despite the fact it's an endangered species and it's illegal to sell them in China, this is the most trafficked endangered species in the world. The meat is considered a delicacy for rich Chinese, and then the scales are used in traditional Chinese medicine.
Dean Koontz predicted 2019 coronavirus in 1981 novel. No, this news was actually not true. In that book, the virus is used as a weapon.
Science fact or fiction, we're looking into another claim of a coronavirus prediction in pop culture. The claim this time is that the 1981 Dean Koontz book, The Eyes of Darkness, actually predicted the outbreak. This one's only part should be true. The paperback edition of the novel, released in 2008, includes a biological weapon called Wuhan 400. It's certainly a coincidence, but Wuhan 400 is a human-made weapon with a 100% fatality rate and a 4-hour incubation period. And in other iterations of the book, the weapon was made in Russia and is called Gorky 400.
The most recent common ancestor, MRCA, of all coronaviruses is estimated to have existed as recently as 8000 BCE, although some models place the common ancestor as far back as 55 million years or more, implying long-term coevolution with bat and avian species. The most recent common ancestor of the alphacoronavirus line has been placed at about 2400 BCE, the betacoronavirus line at 3300 BCE, the gammacoronavirus line at 2800 BCE, and the deltacoronavirus line at about 3000 BCE. Bats and birds, as warm-blooded flying vertebrates, are an ideal natural reservoir for the coronavirus gene pool, bats the reservoir for alphacoronavirus and betacoronavirus, and birds the reservoir for gammacoronavirus and deltacoronavirus. The large number of host bat and avian species, and their global range, has enabled extensive evolution and dissemination of coronaviruses. Many human coronavirus have their origin in bats. 62. The human coronavirus NL63 shared a common ancestor with a bat coronavirus, ARCOV.2, between 1190-1449 CE. 63. The human coronavirus 229E shared a common ancestor with bat coronavirus gonorrhea 1 BTCOV between 1686-1800 CE. 64. More recently, alpaca coronavirus and human coronavirus 229E diverged sometime before 1960. 65. MERS-CoV emerged in humans from bats through the intermediate host of camels. 66. MERS-CoV, although related to several bat coronavirus species, appears to have diverged from these several centuries ago. 67. The most closely related bat coronavirus and SARS-CoV diverged in 1986. 68. A possible path of evolution of SARS coronavirus and keen bat coronaviruses suggests that SARS-related coronaviruses coevolved in bats for a long time. The ancestors of SARS-CoV first infected leaf-nosed bats of the genus Hippocyteridae. Subsequently, they spread to horseshoe bats in the species Rhinolophidae, and then to civets, and finally to humans. Unlike other betacoronaviruses, bovine coronavirus of the species betacoronavirus 1 and subgenus Embicovirus is thought to have originated in rodents and not in bats. In the 1790s, equine coronavirus diverged from the bovine coronavirus after a cross-species jump. Later in the 1890s, human coronavirus OC43 diverged from bovine coronavirus after another cross-species spillover event. It is speculated that the flu pandemic of 1890 may have been caused by this spillover event, and not by the influenza virus, because of the related timing, neurological symptoms, and unknown causative agent of the pandemic. Human coronavirus OC43, besides causing respiratory infections, is also suspected of playing a role in neurological diseases. In the 1950s, the human coronavirus OC43 began to diverge into its present genotypes, phylogenetically: mouse hepatitis virus, murine coronavirus, which infects the mouse's liver and the central nervous system, is related to human coronavirus OC43, and bovine coronavirus. Human coronavirus HKU1, like the aforementioned viruses, also has its origins in rodents.
Outside central Singapore is an animal research lab where scientists have isolated the purest form of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19 and keep it locked under the strictest of security.
So now we're going into the main lab, and inside this lab here is where we keep the live virus.
The live viruses?
The live virus,
so
yes.
The most dangerous things that you have at this facility?
Exactly. This is the virus that was isolated from the sick patients, and now it's housed in this lab here.
Australian Dr. Danielle Anderson is one of the world's top virologists, with 20 years' work in the field and at America's most prestigious universities.
What surprised you about this virus?
The spread of this is really, really surprising. We've seen outbreaks in the past. We think we know what we're doing. And so for me, it's a really, really big surprise.
Why is it spreading so quickly?
So it seems that it's extremely contagious, and it's not airborne, but it is contagious.
Dr. Anderson took me to another part of the facility to show me where the virus came from. Bats gathered in China for food. A vet here captured one, and in a containment cage, she showed it to me.
And why bats? How confident are you that the coronavirus came from bats?
So I'm probably 90% confident that the new coronavirus came from bats.
The initial contamination, she says, likely happened here at a filthy animal market in Wuhan, China. Someone there, she believes, butchered a bat, came into contact with its blood or urine, and then touched his or her mouth or nose. We know the rest. Outbreaks still spreading around the world. In South Korea, they're disinfecting public transport. In China, authorities promise to crack down hard on the wildlife trade, and they're preparing to take containment to a new level. This video shows security forces training to capture a suspected infected person, a sign of what could be coming.
Do you think it's going to keep spreading?
I think that it is heading towards becoming a pandemic, yes. We have to work hard for a vaccine and learn to live with the virus, and I think it's just going to become part of our life.
Richard Engel, NBC News, Singapore.
Barricaded and guarded by police with masks, Chinese authorities have traced a new deadly virus back to this seafood market in the city of Wuhan. They say a new strain of coronavirus originated here and put an entire region on edge. CNN has obtained this video filmed inside the market, showing that more than seafood was on offer for sale. Images of the market from early December, taken by a concerned customer, indicate it was apparently selling other live wild animals, including skinned birds, snakes, and raccoon dogs, sparking concern that the virus might have been transmitted from animals to humans. CNN has not independently verified this footage posted on Chinese social media site Weibo, which has since been deleted by government censors, according to the poster. When CNN contacted the market, they would not comment.
The School of Public Health here at Hong Kong University is a leading authority in the study of emerging viral diseases.
Professor Liao Poon is a virologist at the university and was among the first to decode the SARS coronavirus.
I would believe that this Wuhan outbreak was caused by animal virus, and then the animal actually carried this virus and spread to human. And what we know is causing pneumonia, and then they don't respond to normal antibiotic treatment, so which is not surprising. But then in terms of mortality, SARS killed 10% of the infected individual.
Between 2002 and 2003, SARS infected more than 8,000 people and killed 774 in a pandemic that reached 37 countries.